Welcome to the Texas Cornhole Show.
Yeah, welcome.
I know this is a little bit different view for everybody. To be more consistent about the episodes and what we want to do here on season 3 of the Texas Cornhole Show, John and I decided, hey, maybe we just need to do Zoom a little bit more often. That way we can for sure have these meetings, have enough time set aside to kind of handle some things. So, yeah, I'm excited to kind of get this going.
Doesn't feel the same. I got to be honest. Like, sitting here in my office, am I working? Like, it's not as much fun as sitting at the booth in AJ's. So
yeah,
I hope we have some more episodes recorded at AJ's, and I think we will. Yeah,
we will. We'll definitely mix it up in there. It's just the timing of things, So we'll get there.
We'll get there. But, so we have an itinerary, we have an agenda and a schedule. And I was thinking we should probably put this on the description, like what we actually talk about during the show.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get to that.
Maybe.
But first thing we're going to talk, let's go through all the topics that we plan on getting to right now, and then we'll go through them. So that way people can make a decision if they actually want to finish this show or not. So we're going to review the Texas Cornhole Showdown. So we had an event at AJ Sports that was kind of unique and different, and we'll review that. Then we'll go over Spencer McKenzies. That was the big event that was across the country that kind of everybody was talking about. We have some hearsay. People told me what they experienced. And I watched it on TV and stuff like that. We're going to talk about if it's okay to try out for the ACL Pro and then not take it. So you try out, you make it, and then you're like, nah.
Yeah, we're going to dive into that.
We're going to talk about making money as a Cornhole Pro. And along those lines, what teams would be cool? What teams would Grant and I like to see form as teams are forming before all the new seasons start? We're going to talk about the next ACL rule that needs to be changed. And then if we have enough time, we're going to talk about goats, what it means to be a goat. What is a goat? How do you determine who the goat is? And I'm going to apologize on behalf of the show because we've been putting out some bad information when it comes to goats. All right.
Is it bad?
It's been bad. It's bad information. You want to start? You've been misinforming our listeners, Grant. Let's just start there. So, all right. So during the live stream and maybe during one of our recorded shows, you've consistently said that LeBron James is the GOAT of basketball. And I've just kind of deferred to your opinion because I just figured
No, you never deferred. You were always no.
I was always Michael Jordan? Are you sure? And then I would defer. About, okay, you're the pro or you're the guy that knows more about basketball than I do. I've never really played basketball. I don't know very much about it. I haven't really paid attention to the sport of basketball. So I just kind of deferred. But we got some comments on our show and I think you were called a clown. Or at least there's a clown emoji. It might have referred to the whole show. Me too. I don't know. But so then I started looking into it. And you are mistaken. LeBron James is not the GOAT of basketball. It's Michael Jordan.
Okay.
And that's because Michael Jordan has won more championships. He was the MVP more. He was voted on to the all defensive team. So that is your overall objective statistics. And then in addition to that, they polled all of the basketball players, the NBA basketball players. I think it was in 2022. So recently. And according to that poll, Michael Jordan is the GOAT, not LeBron James. LeBron James was second, and it was a close second. And then the kind of this intangible effect that I guess we could figure out a way to actually put a number on it, make it objective, is the cultural impact. And I just think you're younger than I am. And so I saw Michael Jordan come along and change the world. Nobody cared about basketball as much as they did after Michael Jordan came along. Michael Jordan came along and made everybody care about basketball. Sure, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, people knew about basketball, but they didn't care about it. Michael Jordan, everybody tuned in. And then, having his own shoe and Space Jam, bro, he changed the culture of the world to where basketball was cool and awesome and everybody wanted to know. All LeBron James did was follow the path that Michael Jordan created. So, also, the other factor I was thinking is who is history going to forget first? Because everybody will be forgotten. And
you brought this up last time, and I was not a fan of this side of things. at all.
Yeah, because it's kind of subjective, right? It's like
super subjective because you still have players get brought up to this day that's like they're not in the GOAT conversation, but we're still talking about Pistol Pete. It's just.
I even know Pistol Pete Maranovic because I used to use rec specs. I know that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I mean, I didn't like the test of time on that one.
Well, I think that LeBron James will be forgotten before Michael Jordan, which is why Michael Jordan.
The reason I disagree with you is if you go look at the number one stat when it comes to who scored the most points all time is LeBron James. That stat is the first stat almost everybody looks up. Who scored the most points in the NBA? It's LeBron James' name up there.
Points over that just means that he's a ball hog. Did he win championships?
No, I mean okay. Then it's why you want to go championships. You want to go championships. All right, then it's like okay. Bill Russell had 11.
Hey, but you're just we're talking a lot of stats together, like MVPs.
What I like to stick to is longevity. LeBron's been doing it much longer. When MJ was LeBron's age, he was not doing what LeBron's doing right now. Not even close. He was on the Wizards just collecting a check. So, I mean, we can go back and forth. The thing is, I hate arguing for LeBron James because I'm a Kobe guy.
Okay.
I am. And then the whole GOAT debate, the word in there is greatest. Well, then it's like, okay, are we talking about the greatest as a legacy or are we talking about the best player to step on the court? Because I always argued that from a skill, when it comes to strictly skill, Kobe Bryant had more skill than Michael Jordan, in my opinion. But when you're talking about, best player, I think LeBron really his passing ability is what kind of puts him ahead of the MJs and Kobe's at this point in time. But scoring ability, I'll still take the other two guys.
All right. Well, this is a Cornhole show. I just wanted to get that out there. We brought it up, and it got some attention in the comments section. I even had somebody bring it up to me last night at the Switcholio. So
let me guess, they were probably 40 years old and cheering for MJ.
Yeah,
imagine that.
Yeah,
no, it's because the fan is 40.
I mean, that's interesting because then there's the greatest of a generation, right? You always have guys my age, like I'm 47, and I'm just like, wait, MJ's not the GOAT, really? Somebody came along that was better than him, and I find that pretty surprising. But anyway, so I think the GOAT conversation is really interesting, and it
stemmed off of Trey Birchfield.
Yes, and we should come up with some objective criteria on like how we measure GOATs. Is it this stat, that stat, whatever, how much money you make, do you have the biggest following on Facebook, whatever. Let's come up with some rules and start checking those boxes and seeing who like stands up to a test that we come up with. So
yeah,
got any ideas of what criteria really matter? Trey Birchfield is saying he's the GOAT because he's won more ACL tournaments.
Yeah, the most, I think they said titles was the word. And the part that I want to add in on that is, yeah, there's more events now than there ever was. Right. Matt Guy, to me, the longevity matters. Matt Guy's a GOAT. He's been doing it the longest and he's been winning the most, but there wasn't as many major titles as there is right now. So how is he supposed to have the most? Because if they were having 16 opens a year through Matt Guy's entire career, I'm sorry. He's absolutely demolishing the 23 number, I think is the number right now. Maybe it's 22.
One stat on Matt Guy, he's the only person to win King of Cornhole more than once. He's the only guy to do it.
Right.
That kind of adds to the legacy. And I think Birchfield was like only ACL. But,
yeah.
There are a lot of leagues that have been around longer than ACL, right? Has TCL been around longer than ACL?
I don't know. I think it's close. This is our season 15.
Huh. I don't know. I guess ACL probably doesn't number their seasons because they're the youngest.
Maybe.
Or do they number them? I don't think they do.
I don't know. Don't know.
All right, cool. So that's the GOAT discussion. We're going to keep revisiting this. We're going to work on criteria. If you think you have some criteria that should be evaluated, let us know. Either come talk to us or shoot us a comment or something. Because that's something where I do really want to build like a model that has like questions that we answer and then we measure who the GOAT is. Not just in Cornhole, but whatever. All right, cool. So we had a big tournament at AJ's. It was the Texas Cornhole Showdown. This is where I have to give Grant a lot of credit because I was kind of I was the ideas guy and you were the implementation guy. I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we just had people call each other out? And then you took it and ran the tournament. and it worked out. I thought it was pretty cool. Do you want to tell everybody what we did? It was a neat tournament that I don't think anybody else has done before.
So what we did is all the qualifiers through the qualifying events, we put them into a draft. The top half of the draft, or basically the drafters, were determined by their SPR, which is a huge stat that you're on, right? And in determining skill level, I guess. So those top guys got drafted first from the bottom half of the players, and they kind of worked their way down. And then after we had all the draft selections made, we had this spin a wheel randomization, whatever it was. So we got a player in the lower half be able to choose one team in the upper. Hey, you can go pick anyone you want to be your partner. And then we switched around partners from there. So the team that got broken up was Levi and John Miller. They had to split up and play with different guys. I think Levi still got the money. So after the draft, we ran the 4 rounders, and that set our first list. That first list determined in what order players can do the call outs in. So the number 1 seed got to make the first call out. Unfortunately, in this tournament, the number 2 seed never got to make the call out because the number 1 seed immediately called out the number 2 seed.
So was that Zach Harris and Trinity Miller?
Yes.
The whole time we're calling out the top people?
And it was awesome. It was really Zach. Zach, and some people were frustrated about it, which I thought it was great. I literally said on the mic, he's the only one with some balls.
Yeah.
And I liked his reasoning behind it. He said, well, her and I are throwing great right now. We want to play against a good team every single time and keep that high level of throwing going instead of always choosing that lower team where you're going in there kind of, not really focused. You just got to kind of throw your bags, do your thing. Well, every single round he would choose, if he chose somebody, which he typically did because no one would choose him, he was choosing the best player available or the best team available to play against. And he was taking them down one by one.
Yeah, and I think there was like some hostility created in this event because not only was it the schoolyard pick'em where sometimes feelings get hurt, but then like in addition to schoolyard pick'em, people are calling out who they want to play against.
Right.
It was pretty fun to watch.
It's pretty great hearing, just as people are walking by, somebody gets called out and the team that got called out ends up winning. That's great because it's like, man, you could have chose anybody else. That kind of talk, that kind of conversation. So it was pretty fun though. I liked it.
That was a cool event. People that are subscribed to the channel can go watch it. I think it's one of our most watched live events already. It got like over 1.2 thousand views in the first couple days it was up. So a lot of people watched it. It was pretty fun. We had Trey Sparks come in, sideline Sammy. They came in to commentate. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, they did a good job.
I didn't get all of the production bells and whistles done that I wanted to get done, but I think overall it was pretty good.
And then one layer to the Pick'em's thing that we didn't cover is that you pick against guys that have the same record as you. So the 1-0 guys choose the other 1-0 guys. The 0-1 guys choose the other 0-1 guys. Once you lose 2 games, you're out of the tournament. So still a double elimination. And then we randomize those lists every time. So after all the 1-0 guys, we pulled them into a deal, randomized their names, then had them come up and choose who they're playing against.
Okay, cool. And it was big payouts too. I think first place got $2,000, second place got $1,000.
Yeah, it was like $5,500 in payouts.
Paid all the way out to like 13th.
13th, yep.
But I would say for AJ's and the Texas Cornhole Show, that was a pretty good event.
Yes.
Good job, Grant.
Appreciate it.
They nailed it. And same thing with Ruben and Jake, they put a lot of effort into it. And I think all in all, it was a pretty cool event that was new, that was brought to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Pretty cool stuff.
Yep. So Zach Harris and Trinity Miller took down the Showdown.
Yeah.
Second place, Chase Lester, Michael Henson. And big payday for them. That final game, the difference between first place getting 2,000 and second place getting 8,000. There's some pressure on the line there, ain't there?
And I have to say the winning shot was Trinity Miller picking up a pretty deep blocker. She pushed it in to win. And that wasn't the first time she did that day. So from my perspective, the player of the match was Trinity Miller, even though I know that Chase and Zach are the ones that get all the credit. Current ACL Pro and soon to be ACL Pro. But if you ask me, Trinity was the one that kind of clutched up and won that tournament.
Right. All right, so let's start talking about Spencer's. What do you want to talk about here first? The things we liked or the things that we heard?
Let's start off positive.
Positive.
I'll start off with we'll do the shit sandwich. It's positive, positive.
All right.
It's an HR trick. All right, so positive. I was watching it from home, and I'm going to do two positive. Oh no, I'll end on a positive. So, watching it from home, and they've got a new thing that is Brinks, BRINX.TV. And it was the first time that I'm aware of that Cornhole was streamed to this platform. And it was pretty much just like the ESPN Plus broadcast or the YouTube broadcast. It was the same. But it was streamed to this new platform. And on this platform, you can watch the Cornhole. And then on the bottom, there were options to basically bet. And I think it's fake money. You get free Brinks bucks or something when you first sign on. I'm sure you can buy some more later. I didn't need to do that because I was absolutely crushing it like anybody else who knows anything about Cornhole would be doing, because the guys putting these bets up, I don't think they knew very much about Cornhole. But what happens is you get these choices that pop up. Like, for example, which team is going to be the first to get to 10? And I would just pick the team that I thought was strongest. And then you get to place a bet, and then you lock it in, and then you watch, and you wait and see if you win. And then after that bet clears, like a team gets to 10, they throw another bet up there. For example, if it was like 12-0, is this other team even going to get to 10 points? Or another bet they would put up there is what's going to be the combined score at the end of this match? Or who's going to win eventually? Something like that. So it's a yes or no, or like you have to choose between two things. You choose it, you place your bet, you lock it in, you watch the Cornhole. And I got to tell you, it was probably the most entertained I've been as somebody who was just being a couch potato at the time. The most entertained I've been watching Cornhole. So I would have to expect that this is going to grow for sure. And we'll just have to see if it does. So I thought that was really...
So you don't know yet if it's real money?
No, I just know I tripled my money, whatever it is. I got like 3,000 Brinks bucks, and I started with 1,000. Like, I have no idea, but I'm like waiting for the next event. And then they got other stuff on there, like, lots of other stuff. They got, what's the tennis, but not tennis, that's really popular right now? It's not Pong.
Pickleball?
Pickleball. Yeah. All these kind of fringe outlier sports. They've got, silly podcasts like this. Lots of stuff. I was pulling it up right now just to see if there's any live sports going on that I could bet on. And I don't see it. But it's like the Ocho meets a gambling site is kind of how I
okay.
think. But pretty interesting. We'll see if they keep it up. But it's breaks.
It'll be funny though. That 1,000 free bucks they gave you equates to like $1.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Well, so it's like if you want to redeem your Brinks bucks, I got to get up to 100,000.
Oh my! So
lock my reward. I'm only at 3,000 right now.
So I feel like 100,000.
Yes.
So 1,000 has to equal $1, surely.
1,000 has to equal. Wow, maybe that's a lot.
You got to get to $100.
Is that right? I don't know. Brinks bucks. I thought it was cool. I
might have done the math wrong. You said you have to get to 100,000.
100,000 Brinks bucks to cash in, but it doesn't say what it is. When I click on it, nothing happens because I don't have 100,000.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, check it out. Maybe it's something you have some fun with. But as of right now, until you see some other people withdraw some money, I would not put any money in.
I'm not putting any money in. That was my free 1,000 Brinks bucks just for signing up. But it was cool. I'm going to do it again. Next time there's Cornhole, I'll be on there betting away. Okay. What you got?
I got to watch a little bit of it. And, honestly, the environment when it comes to the broadcast, it seemed fun. I was watching later on to the tournament. It seemed like the tournament was getting ran well, or at least, the live feed stuff was getting ran well. You got those people in the crowd doing their stuff, and, it's a definitely different environment than the normal ACL event. That is what this is. It's no longer Spencer McKenzies. This is an ACL event.
Yeah.
And, you hearing in the crowd, everybody's having drinks, doing their stuff, yelling out bar soap or do this, do that in the middle of these guys' shots. It's great. I mean, I love it personally.
It was the biggest crowd I've ever seen at an ACL event.
And, they kind of brought up the whole headphones rule, the foot foul stuff, because that was still going on, which, it's not against the rules as of right now. But going into next year, taking off the headphones and not being able to step across the line, I'm wondering who you're going to see kind of fall to the back of the pack as far as skill goes.
Well, you're talking about Jamie Graham, because he was crossing line with headphones on, and he was in the finals. He won it. But I think he's a great example to bring up, because if anybody could just adjust, it's going to be him. I swear that guy's got like a different style every time I see him play.
He's good. He is one of the best players I've seen play, and just the consistency level of it. But I mean, we're going to see. We're going to see that rule. It's going to affect some people. The guys that can't handle the noise going on around them, the headphones are going to kill them. That's going to completely destroy their game for sure.
What about earplugs?
No, you don't get to wear.
I can't wear earplugs.
No,
they've got tiny little earplugs too that you won't be able to see.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what they want to do, but if I see someone wearing earplugs, they're going to be lamer than I probably already thought they were.
Call a ref. What do they call them in Cornhole? Are they umpires or referees? Rules officials.
Yeah.
So
some of the feedback I got in the event from talking to a few people that attended, they said it was kind of a mess as far as how some things are going on. I know there were some internet issues, and they're trying to say that's not an ACL, that was on whatever else. I'm pretty sure ACL provides their own internet at this point in time. They're past the point of relying on any one venue's internet. And
if they're not, that's back on them, right?
Right. I mean, that's what it boils down to. I know a lot of people aren't really sure how these events work. They provide their own internet 90% of the time. And I just heard that there was just a lot of turnoffs of when it was going on with how it was kind of going. And then apparently a lot of people still upset about the new rules kind of getting pushed on them for the money grabs, like the board stamp, and some other things going on. But, I know you got an anonymous source that kind of attended that gave you more of a rundown.
Yeah, one of our friends went to it and competed in it, and his major complaint was that, and I've only been in one tournament like this, maybe two. I think Ryder Cup, my first Ryder Cup might have been run like this, where you're basically on one set of boards along with X number of other doubles teams. Like, let's just say there's 10 total teams. You're all assigned to lane 1 or lane 29 or 130, whatever it is. And you all play your games, and then like the top half move up and the bottom half move down to the second bracket, right? So this is a familiar way of doing these big tournaments, right? Are you familiar with it? It's probably when you started, because I've done 2 tournaments that are like this.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the style.
Yeah. Okay, problem number 1 took forever. Like, our friend was saying that because there's 10 teams or whatever it was, 15 teams assigned to this one lane, it was like over an hour between his games.
Easy.
Yeah, easy. It was huge waits between games. And then the other problem was sandbagging. So the problem is that a lot of guys didn't want to go to the top tier, right? They wanted to go to the bottom tier because the bottom tier pays out. And it was obvious to our friend. It was like these guys were clearly just like they were throwing the bags left and right of the board because they wanted to throw the game. They're being kind of blatant about it. They're like, no, we want to go to the bottom tier. We don't want to go to the top tier because we think we have a chance to win the bottom tier, not the top tier. Which, how are people still running tournaments this way? I don't understand why people do this. If you go play, for example, Open or the top tier of an event, and it's split into multiple tiers after rounders, that's great, but the money should be at the top. You can't put the money at the top and then also put some money at the bottom. That doesn't make any sense, because then you have guys that made the top tier that don't get paid or don't get a plaque, they get nothing. And at the bottom tier guys you beat are getting paid at the end of the day. It makes no sense, but that was kind of the big complaint from our buddy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, sandbagging, especially in that format, is going to be a big problem. I'm sure they chose the format they did because it was easy to explain, easiest on the software, and could probably maximize as many teams as possible being there, right? They weren't really worried about running an efficient tournament. They were trying to see how many people they could get on the beach.
Yeah, but why pay out those guys? Why you should keep all the money in the top. That way in rounders, everybody needs to make it to the top.
Yeah, but that would be, in my opinion, that would kind of kill the event too, because you're having all these people coming for the experience. Yes, but if they're like, hey, I'm spending $1,000 to come out to this event, and there's no way I beat Jamie Graham and Eric Davis, especially with all the pros that are there, okay, then you lose 70%. It becomes a pro only event. Is what it ends up pretty much being, because all those players are like, well, I'm not really going out there to play for anything. It's just the experience. And that means players only go out there one time, because after the one time, they'll be like, oh, I've been there, done that.
Yeah, I think so. Now you just have people trying to get into the bottom tiers so they can try and win money there. I just think that's
I mean, I think it's lame no matter how you cut it.
You should pay out everybody that makes tier 1 before you start paying out tier 2.
Sure. There's enough money in that event to do that.
Yeah, or any event like that should be the rule. So I think that is everything I got from. Oh yeah, another good thing. We get this on positive. 2 positives actually. I was listening to a player interview, and it was Mark Richards, and he was like, if you go to any cornhole event throughout the entire year, it should be Spencer McKenzies. It's his favorite by far. And he was just telling everybody that they should go if they go to one. Don't ACL Worlds. No. Go to Spencer McKenzies. And the other thing that I thought was positive is they have blind draws going on all day long, which when I was at ACL Worlds, I thought that they were doing the same thing. And it was cool because for people that didn't have an event to play in, or if they busted out early, there's always cornhole to be played, which with today's technology, right, with Switcholio or Sportholio, like it's just so easy. Like run a tournament and have them running constantly. So I thought that was really cool to be able to play cornhole all day if you wanted to.
Right. Yeah. No, that's definitely a good thing to have there. Playing conditions, what you're walking into, right? Windy, you're on the beach, your feet are going to be uneven. The boards will probably be a little bit uneven. As years have gone on, I haven't heard people talk about the elements as much as they used to.
Maybe it just wasn't that windy this weekend.
Maybe so. I will say when I was watching some of those games, it's disappointing how often pro players turn down the airmail. They're scared for their lives out there. Let me try this push shot. I know I'm not going to hit, or the bags aren't going to move, because it's the same as boarding it, because I don't want an airmail. That it's soft, man. Some of these pros are just soft.
All right. Well, I'm going to go a little bit out of order here just because it flows better, I think. The next rule that ACL needs to change, right? Let's just jump into that, because when I was watching Spencer McKenzies, the one just jumped out. And we brought this one up before, but a little bit of a background here. Grant and I both think that crossing the line was a horrible decision. Why did ACL decide to do that? But they finally changed it.
Right? Well, they haven't changed it officially, but that's what we hear. Yeah.
We hear the rumor is that ACL finally is going to change the rules that you can't cross the line when you throw. Thank God. And I'm already ready to start the next chapter of what the next rule that they need to change is, and that's timeouts. Like
the timeouts is horrible,
dude. Cornhole's so boring to watch already, and then we've got 6 timeouts. Like this is incredible. And I'll steal a page out of your book. This kind of shows that I don't think these guys running the league play much cornhole. You don't need 6 timeouts when you're playing doubles. You've got a partner who can tell you what you should do. You don't need 6 timeouts. So I was like, where did this number 6 come from, right? Well, football has 6 timeouts, right?
So imagine that. Imagine that, though, with football. You have 11 guys on the field playing against 11 other guys, and you're getting as many timeouts as a cornhole game. It's just that, I mean, NBA, you have 7 timeouts.
7? Okay, I looked up hockey. You know how many timeouts you get in hockey? 1.
and that's just, and we're just talking about taking a timeout so you can go look at the pile you've probably seen 100 times, right?
Yeah.
And especially with the way that they set up the broadcast, on the non-broadcast courts, I still think it's ridiculous, especially in doubles when you have someone on the other end that can tell you exactly what you need to do.
Yes.
But on the broadcast courts, you have a TV right there that they're looking at anyways.
Like,
so
what are you doing?
the timeout number is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
And it's dead air. I mean, that's like a bad word in the broadcasting business, dead air. And it's basically dead air. I mean, sure, maybe it's a little bit interesting to watch these two people discuss what shot that they're going to hit, but come on, this is dead air. It's so boring. And the other point to make is that if you force these guys to throw the bag before the clock runs out, it adds tension. It adds excitement. It's going to be more fun to watch these guys. Am I going to have to airmail or am I going to slide? Am I going to block behind? Am I going to roll or am I going to?
And I also want to see these guys feel like they should save a timeout. I'm going to wait for it to be 18-19 and then use my timeout because it's a big moment. I need to go look at this pile and make sure I'm good with the game plan. Yeah. But right now, there's no pressure to conserve timeouts because, again, what are the odds of you using 6 timeouts in a game at 21?
I mean, 6 timeouts in a doubles game. 12 timeouts, actually, now that we think about it, right?
Yeah.
12 total timeouts in a doubles match. That's got to be changed. Obviously, they changed their step over rule because of us. So maybe they'll change the timeout rule because of us, too. Because in the other 2 leagues, just like you couldn't step over the line, it's 2 timeouts, bro. It's TCL, it's only 1 timeout in doubles.
Yeah, TCL is one timeout in doubles. You have a teammate on the other side of the boards that can instruct you on what to do. If you're going to use a timeout, it's because you have to use a timeout.
Yeah, and in ACO you get 2, but it's not 6.
No.
It's just insanity. And,
yes.
Just to show some love to our friends at TCL and ACO, both of those leagues, the guys that run the league, they play. You will see Chad Jacobson playing in his signature series. You will see Frank Gears playing in his majors. They play. So they know these 6 timeouts is ridiculous.
Right. And we've said it kind of before. Whoever's making decisions over there at ACL, they're not playing sports.
No,
they might, and I don't even know how much of a fan they are of sports, to be honest with you.
Yes, it's just weird. I'd love to hear what that reasoning is, right? Because we always heard, well, in basketball, 3-pointers, you can jump over the line and it won't get into the.
You can't land across the line. And the guys explaining rules and doing things, they just don't know what they're talking about.
If anybody knows what the defense is for why you need 6 timeouts in a game of doubles cornhole, please let me know because I'd love to hear the rationale.
Please come on to the show and let us pick you apart.
Yes. Come on to the show. We've got Zoom working. Come on.
Yes.
I'll be right here in the little window.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, moving on. Question for you, Grant. Is it okay to try out to be an ACL Pro, make it, and then decline the offer and say, no, I'm good. I think I'm just going to stick with what I'm doing?
I think context matters. Some people want to qualify just to prove that they can make it. Well, potentially you are, and some guys go into it knowing that they're not going to take there's 0 chance they accept their pro card. They are just going to prove that they can make it, or just to be like, the ACO guys going over there. Hey, told y'all so. Wasn't a problem. I went 7-0. That kind of thing, or 8-0, or whatever the number is. I personally don't like it because I think that there's people that really want the opportunity and the chance to be pros, and you're taking that opportunity away from them just to be like, hey, F this league, or I don't need to be a pro, or whatever the case may be. So I think the context does matter. But the guys that they go out there to qualify, and they don't. It's not even sit there and like really consider, look for sponsors, and then make a decision. There's like, no, I'm good. I think I don't like that. What do you say?
I'm
love it.
Okay with it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if ACL could always just, make an offer to the next person down the list, like there's nothing stopping them from offering more and more people the ACL Pro title. It's just a contract, right? They can offer whoever they want. They think somebody deserves it, they can offer it to them. And it's a cornhole tournament. And it's an exciting tournament that comes with, the glory, I guess, of being able to say, hey, I could have done it.
Yeah.
So I'm perfectly fine with it, especially just from the personal satisfaction, the personal achievement. I think it's fine. And then What I tell my kids, man, is put yourself in a position and make a decision. And that's ultimately what they're doing. If somebody like Braden Easterling is the one that we know for sure tried out and has decided he's going to go stay where he was, which is with ACO, and he's throwing some of our friends' bags at CBC. So, and they made that announcement. It was kind of a surprise when they made that announcement that Braden had decided to stick around ACO. But I'm sure if Ultra would have come along and thrown a bunch of money at him or something like that, or Lucky Bags, maybe he would have gone to ACL. But, the point is put yourself in a position to make the decision. Never make the decision before you could make it, if that makes sense, right? Because then you're spoiling in your mind and you're wasting your time. Work to put yourself in a position to make a decision. So I'm perfectly cool with it. You should go run the gauntlet. Maybe I will after I become an ACL Pro next season.
I don't have any interest. I'm good. But remember, ACL's not doing the roll downs anymore. And that's the thing, whoever, I was 2 courts away and Braden won his game, all happy, hype, doing his thing. What about the guy that lost to him in that final game to become a pro that probably would have taken the pro card?
Should have won.
Yeah, I guess so.
Man, I mean, we're talking about competition here.
You never know. Braden could have backed down for being a pro after Levi Hadock put him on him and double dipped him out of the bracket in advanced singles. That could have been it too.
Could have been.
Levi's not a pro. I probably shouldn't be either,
Well, it's just Levi's age is the only thing that's keeping him from.
Yeah, the only thing. Yeah, for sure.
Do you think Levi Hadock will win an Open? An ACL Open next season? I think he's going to be there. I think he's going to be playing.
I hope he does. I hope he does. That's hard to call. Those Opens, you don't know how many pros are going to be there. You don't know who's going to be at what Opens. I will say once you get towards the end of the season, those Opens tend to thin out and you get some different winners out of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, Levi, I think he won his bracket in one of the Opens and got 3rd overall. So maybe he goes out there and does it this year.
And that was before he had 2 years under his belt. Yeah. I think I misspoke on our last episode when I was saying that, why would the ACO shrink their player pool? And I forgot that they have this whole elite situation, right? Where you can still pay the ACL a bunch of money. You can
$300 a piece.
Yeah. And you can still have the chance to play in those pro tournaments.
Right. So, and still be a part of the minor league teams too.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just, they shrunk the pro pool, but the dream is still available for purchase.
Right.
So, all right, cool. Along those lines, the next talking point that we had was how to make money as a cornhole pro. So Michelle, I forgot her last name, but she goes by Mish. She's been putting out a lot of stuff lately about how to make money as a cornhole pro. And I think it's pretty interesting content, but you had some comments about that you had noticed some activity on social media that seemed consistent.
I think that she's communicating with her players or with the ACL players right now and kind of instructing them. I think everyone's pretty much noticed at this point, all the pros saying, who am I going to partner up with next season and what bags am I going to throw? And just starting to create conversation essentially about different brands, different players, who would make good pairings, who they would like to see, and all the stuff. Dylan Turpin's a recent one that kind of popped up. We've seen Jeremiah Ellis make the same comment, but I think we've seen a few of them now. I think that she's trying to go about creating some hype and better social media numbers and things for the pros so that when they go seek sponsorships, they have numbers to sell people on. She put out that form, which I kind of read over the form. I think it was funny. Essentially, she was saying to do exactly what she's doing right there to generate revenue as a pro.
Pay me for my class, and then you can have people pay you for your class.
Your class. Yeah. Yes.
But this isn't a bad idea, honestly. I think what she is doing is commendable. There's clearly a wide open gap, if you ask me, that needs to be filled. And that is, these pros are not making enough money to support themselves and their families in the sport of cornhole. So the payouts aren't enough to get there. The bag sponsorships aren't enough to get there. So there's a big gap.
No. And let me stop you there. They are enough to get there. They're not deep enough.
Oh, you can't. Okay. So, like Mark Richards, for example, says he's now a 100% cornhole pro.
Right.
His wife or his fiance, I think, is working in benefits. He made a comment about having to get married for benefits, and that means okay, so she's got a paying job. So your cornhole career is subsidized. So what I mean is guys like Ellis. Ellis, I understand, is the primary breadwinner for the home with a wife and children. He cannot live off of winnings and bag sponsorships. So he needs to be able to subsidize his career. And Mish, right before we had this, it's Michelle Thompson, right before we started recording, she made a post on social media that had these ideas for making money. It was sponsorship ideas, affiliate / influencer marketing. And I think that's interesting. That's where a company will pay you to get on social media and promote their wares, their goods,
Right.
their services, whatever it is. In-person events. So I think this is kind of interesting, right? I will pay you money to come to Dallas and be my friend, be part of my event, to maybe speak, maybe play with my buddies, something like that.
Right.
Private group and private coaching is a great idea. Online courses is the one that we mentioned previously. And weekend retreats. So this one, I immediately texted the owner of AJ's, why don't we have a weekend retreat? Let's get as many pros as we can. Come to AJ's. We'll make a whole weekend out of it. It will be all about coaching. We'll set up the throw IQ, pitch IQ. I forgot what I called it. And get lessons there, have even different pros look at your pitch motion and give you tips, give you advice, have pros that talk about the mental game, whatever. Go to a Cowboys game, have catered. Like, I started thinking this is actually going to be a pretty cool thing. This could be a fun event. So thanks, Mish. If that ever comes to fruition, we'll have to give you a tip of the cap, a shout out.
Look at you supporting those ACL pros.
Well, no, I'm at ACL pros. I'm the pro giving the lessons. So you didn't catch that part?
Yeah.
And former ACL pros. Yeah. No, I mean, look, rising tide lifts all ships. I know the way that ACL and I know the way leagues behave, right? They're not really about helping the sport of cornhole, but I think it's better just to try to, let's see if we can help everybody out and see what happens, right? Maybe we can all grow together. So next up on the list here, teams, right? So we have all these guys along this line of thought where you were talking about they're being encouraged to say, hey, who's my partner for next year? What bags am I throwing? So let's talk about what pairings we'd like to see.
Me personally, I think I've seen it multiple times. Matt Guy, Gary Bearpaw.
Is it just because of the style of play?
It's just because I want to know how many bags in a row they can throw. That's it. I want to see Gary Bearpaw throwing 11-3-8 and Matt Guy throwing 11-4 and just and it be a 100-round game. I don't want to watch it. I just want to see the stats at the end.
So I'm pretty sure Bearpaw is going for ACL. I think I saw a post from Anita saying that's what they're doing. So we might just see that, right? Well, we might see them go against each other, which I don't know if that's ever happened.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it has. There was a conversation on the Addicted to Cornhole this past year about, Gary Bearpaw, Matt Guy. And listen, I think if both of them are playing against each other and the style in which they play, they're going to be there forever.
Yeah.
They're going to be there absolutely forever. Matt Guy is not going to back block at all. And he's just going to rip airmails if there ever is a blocker there. But knowing Gary Bearpaw, there's never going to be a blocker there. His bag's going to be in the hole. And good luck. Well, that game would take forever.
So Bearpaw has a rollback. Legit.
Yeah, he's got something going on. Yeah.
He's got a rollback. I've watched him hit it on multiple occasions on purpose. But most of the time, it's just like during down and backs and when he's staying warm between matches. And when it's game time, I'm putting every bag in the hole. Just like Matt Guy, right? That's his strategy. Ellis Graham, I think, would be pretty bonkers. I don't mean to take too much away from Ryan Hart, but to see Ellis paired up with one of the tippity top guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's got to happen at this point, right? Nothing against Ryan Hart, but there's levels to this. And Jeremiah with someone like Jamie Graham would be a ridiculous team.
Ridiculous.
I'm tired of seeing these matchups do happen, though. Tony Smith, Mark Richards. What a letdown.
Mark Richards talked about that in the interview with the Big Ass Cornhole podcast, and he kind of blamed the bags. he kind of blamed bouncing, but I'm not saying he blamed it, but when they talked about it, it was, well, in doubles I was throwing this bag, and singles I was throwing that bag.
Well, that's the whole reason why the pairing didn't make sense to begin with. Tony Smith made his name by throwing slow bags, sticky bags, and hitting roll shots, but still being able to throw hard enough and consistent enough to have the hole for hole game. Mark Richards was throwing a fast bag.
Yeah,
always.
Gamblers.
So how did
Pro Snipers?
Pro Snipers, yeah, or the Gladiator bags too. And why that was a horrible pairing and not very well thought out. I think it was just, if Mark Richards can be in the whole entire time, Tony Smith should win his side on his end. But if they're not comfortable with the bags, then they're not the same level of player either way. So I would love to play. If I'm playing Tony Smith and he's throwing fast bags, I'm feeling okay. And if I'm playing against Mark Richards and he's throwing slow bags, I'm feeling okay too.
Yeah, so that's interesting because I would think you could also make the argument at their level, they can get used to any bag, right? They can adjust, they can adapt, but
play styles matter.
That at your heart, your core of a player, you are a certain type of player. You're a slow bag guy or you're a fast bag guy.
Right, 100%.
Yeah. So, okay, let's keep down this path of kind of pairing. So let's talk about our Texas guys, right? Okay. Any pairings, like let's say if you were to take a Jamie Graham or a Jeremiah Ellis or a Matt Guy or the Throwbot, the guy, the self-declared GOAT.
Trey Birchfield.
Okay, if you were to match them up with one of the Texas boys, which one would you see any pairings there that you like?
I put Sammy with just about anybody because Sammy it's a mid-speed bag is what he likes. Him and Jeremiah would be cool just because they're both, joined the same year, had the same kind of hype around them. That'd be a good team up. Not better than me and Levi Hadock. We took them down into cash game at Worlds. Not many people know, but now you know.
So it's funny. I just want to jump in on that one. Like, that was your best moment at Worlds, at least. When you talk about that, like you light up about it. It was one of the first things you mentioned when we were talking about your experience there. You're like, well, me and Levi, we took Jeremiah and Sammy.
Yes. And it was definitely just one of those random cash games. Just came out of nowhere. No one was warmed up. No one was playing. I mean, obviously things can change, but it was just fun. It was good excitement. It was really funny. The highlight of the game was Jeremiah's son sitting there and talking just as much crap as anybody else. It was hilarious.
How old?
He's like 9. I mean, he's a young kid. So when young kids talk crap, all you can do is laugh. That's all you can do.
So is Jeremiah like a talker? I've heard he talks a lot, but is he like? Does he talk
in that moment? He was talking a lot for sure and having fun.
Yeah. All right. So Sammy and Jeremiah, huh? Any other pairings come to mind?
Man, I'm just so used to seeing guys together. It's just, AJ Sims, Eddie Grindersleeve, Caleb Batson. I just don't see them playing with anybody else. I just, they're kind of locked in. I think at that pro level too. So all of them are so good together and no one really had a weak partner this past season. So it's hard to be like, I'd put them with this guy and they'd be so much better.
So you think all those guys are going to stay together?
No, I think
AJ and Braden both went to BG, so it kind of makes sense for them to stay together.
Yeah.
JBJ and Logan, like they've been together since I've even heard of them.
They kind of played like they weren't going to be together. They ended up being teammates.
I don't know. Have they said that they're sticking together?
I think they're sticking together. I don't see why they would change. I mean, they had a year that was super successful, and Justin will get his stuff back.
He has kind of lost his mojo a little bit.
And I think there's something to playing with somebody in your area too, and being able to build that chemistry instead of just showing up to the event and playing. But no, I haven't heard anything about anybody switching any partners. I've heard more about the new pros and who are they potentially going to get as partners than I have.
We talking like Chase and Ty?
Yeah, Chase, Ty, Oscar. I haven't heard from them yet who they would team up with. So yeah, curious to see who they're going to get.
Is Sammy sticking with the Gore bro? Are you thinking?
No. I haven't heard anything just saying otherwise. So,
it's interesting that we're talking about this because in both ACO and TCL, doubles teams change all the time. Like it's almost like a rotation. people like to play with different people in tournaments. I mean, so there's always those duos that stick together a lot, but
right. I think that when it comes to ACL, I think the guys get their set partners for nationals, and opens is just whatever I can attend.
Yep.
And gets opens, not as big of a deal, and it's just more of a, again, how many opens can I attend and which ones can I go to, and I'll just find a partner. But yeah, nationals, I think it's pretty much a set partner. That's my main go-to.
And I think in ACL, you get points based on your partnership. It's not like individual points, right?
Right. Correct. Dylan Turpin is someone I'm hoping to see get a good partner, because I just want to see. I'm tired of talking about it. I think it's been 2 years of just talking about it. Okay.
Is the top of the stats. Every time I go look at the stats, Dylan Turpin is up there.
I hear you. I do.
But then I don't see him winning.
What is happening?
What's going on, Dylan?
So it's, I'm just tired of talking about, hey, I threw a 10-5-8 and I lost. And look at this other guy, what he threw. I want to get him a good partner so we can put this discussion to bed. Is Dylan Turpin the GOAT, or is he just another guy?
Or is the Oklahoma GOAT? Oh, wait. Or is it... I
don't know. Bearpaw is probably the Oklahoma GOAT.
Longevity is big in your world.
It matters. It matters. What's the point of having a GOAT that's only had success over 2 seasons?
It's a good argument. I need to remember it, which is why I'm saying it out loud right now. All right, bro. We've gone through all of our topics. Do you have anything else you want to drop?
No, not really. We got some cornhole events getting back into action. TCL season starts September 1st. Which season's coming to a close for ACO and ACL, right? And we're jumping. Or what time does the ACO start? When do they get back into action?
So they officially launch at the very end of August, because there's like a weekend that's like, I want to say the 30th of August. Okay. They're launching that weekend up in Buffalo. The first event that's in driving distance of our kind of region is in Lake Charles, Louisiana. That's the first week of September. Second week of September, I will be at the Bryan Legends Event Center. It's possible we stream on this channel in addition to the ACO channel. We'll see how it all gets set up, but it will be streamed live. There will be Texas people there playing. I plan on competing in singles.
You're about to see John's pro journey.
Yeah, dude. I played last night. It had its highs and lows, but I haven't been competing in a long time, so I'm just getting back into the swing of things.
Listen, man, it's not hard. It's not hard. You got this.
Yeah, it's an easy game.
You got all the shots. You're the mechanic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. I had flashes of like, oh, I can do this. And I had flashes of, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, but I watched you and Juan play y'all's cash game the other day. I was just like, what is happening? I just randomly just side rail. It's like, okay, John.
Like, I'm rusty. I'm rusty, bro.
Well, shake it off.
I'm rusty, and I am going to decide. Well, I say this, like, I'm going to decide what my pitch is going to be. That's what I want to be able to do. But I'm realizing, no, what is it on that day? And that's what we're going to stick with. Unless it changes during that day, we're going to stick with that. But we're not changing our pitch in the middle of a throw. That's what we're not doing. Which is what I did. I did that a couple times last night, and had some big misses. But I had a couple games that were like, 10s, 11s, lots of good games. Lots of games where I was locked in and just throwing the bag in the hole over and over again, which is great. Got a couple of runs like that. But like I said, when I got on the main stage and it was being recorded, that's when I had my big misses.
Right. Well, I guess to wrap it up, John and I, the big focus right now is digital content, and that's what we're going to be kind of pumping out and focusing on over the next foreseeable future. But we're going to look to get back to the grind, as soon as we can, really. But yeah, excited with the direction we're headed.
Oh, I should mention, we should have brought this up at the beginning, but so we've been doing a show live at AJ's every Tuesday night. We're going to focus on getting this type of content out weekly, probably on Tuesdays, I think. But the live show at AJ's, we're not going to be doing in the foreseeable future. But the good news, that's bad news. Good news is C4C's taking Tuesday nights over at AJ Sports. So the C4C's got a great following. I love what they do. at the end of every season, they donate to a charity. They're working towards some charity every season. It's pretty neat. I used to play for C4C or with them for several seasons. So they'll be at AJ's. They've got a new home. It's at AJ Sports on Tuesday. So if you're looking to join a really great group in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Tuesday nights, AJ Sports. That's C4C's coming in to take that time slot from the Texas Cornhole Show. And then I'm hoping to do Saturdays. I'm trying to get a regular Saturday thing going. Like Saturday kind of morning-ish, have lunch, get your coffee, come on out, throw some bags, and be done by dinner time. That's kind of the goal I'm setting.
Yep, that would be good. And, but I will say, don't expect the live stream to could totally go away. We're definitely going to have some stuff, live stream stuff going on to the Texas Cornhole Show still. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep. That's like our best content.
Right. Well, appreciate everybody tuning in. Excited to get the next one out there. The next one out there. We're going to keep on doing our thing. But, hey, we've been grinding, So we'll see y'all next time. And remember, it's just a game.